Say goodbye to sunshine. Say goodbye to hot weather. Say goodbye to blah-de-blah-de-blah. Never seen mud before. I'm like, squish, squish, squish. I didn't see my shadow for 10 days. Vaguely looks like a Christmas tree. You put lights on it. Weird threat, but okay. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I am Yvette. I moved to the UK in May last year. So I'm coming up on, what are we on? May, June, July, 8 months. Now that it is January, or the end of January, I thought I wanted to make a video talking about British winter. If you've been following me for a while, you know I like talking about the weather. Helps me fit in with the Brits, but really I've always been this way. I always have like 4 different weather apps I'm cross-referencing. So I thought, why not make an entire video dedicated to just the weather? Because like, bite the bullet and just do it. Often, when I said I was moving to the UK, everyone was like, say goodbye to sunshine, say goodbye to hot weather, say goodbye to blah-de-blah-de-blah. I was like, whatever. Which, in hindsight, they set on fire, so maybe they shouldn't put down all of the rain the UK has, hey? Like, glass houses, guys, glass houses. The other thing was that when I moved to the UK, the Brits I used to say, the weather's so good, like it's so much better than I thought, because of what the Australians were saying. And all the Brits would say, just wait till winter. You'll see. And I was like, okay, weird threat, but okay. So now that it's the end of January, which is the coldest month in the UK, I thought I'll make a video just talking about my impression and expectations and things that surprise me. I think the sun goes down quite early. Obviously, the shortest day of the year is like the 21st of December. And where I live in London, I know when you get to Scotland, it's very different, but it's 3:50. So I imagine it's like 3:30 in Scotland, which is early for sunset. That was a struggle, particularly because of my dog. I have to take her for walks and my park near my house closes. So because the park closes, it makes it harder because I have to take her earlier and earlier. So it's a longer window for her to not be going to the bathroom. So I was very aware of the sunset time because I didn't want to get locked into the park, which definitely happened twice. I had to walk through there's like a manor house associated to it that runs like, I guess, evening classes for kids, like music or whatever. And I'm just like walking through with my muddy dog and my muddy boots being like, I'm so sorry children. And all these kids probably have like trust funds worth more than me. So yes, anyways, digressing. The park closes. So I knew sunset was quite early. Yeah, the short day does suck. I don't disagree with anyone there. Everyone warned me that like it gets dark early and that's hard. It's also, I find 4 o'clock hard because like I don't want to work because it's nighttime, but also it's still a work day. So like my productivity just goes, whew. It's not as cold as I thought it would be. I will say, yeah, so I'll tell you what my opinion is in December and I'll tell you what my opinion is after January, because they're different. So in December, it getting dark early does make work a bit harder. However, because it's Christmas, there's all these Christmas lights and the UK goes out so much better for Christmas here. Also, it makes use of the winter. So in Australia, the sun goes down in Christmas time, so summer, at like 8, 9 o'clock. So to go out and look at Christmas lights is really hard. You have to wait till like after dinner and it's annoying. It's not like conducive. Whereas here, you can like see them on your way home from work, or just sometimes when it's quite gloomy, you can just see them any time of day because they leave them on all the time, which in Australia you don't, because also you can't leave them outside a lot of the time because the sun bleaches them because the sun's so strong. So it's really cool to see people having like trees and decorations outside, because even if you got tinsel and left it outside, it's not going to survive the summer. It will get destroyed by the sun in 1 year. Because the sun goes down early, I think it makes Christmas time a bit more special, and you can go to like a Christmas market that's all lit up at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon and it feels more atmospheric, but you're not out heaps late, so it's kind of good. It's good that, and I found as well that like every high street of every like little villagey borough, whatever you want to call it, has its own decorations, which is amazing. Like everyone has a tree. They put trees everywhere. If it vaguely looks like a Christmas tree, you put lights on it. It's amazing. So everything's very atmospheric. So it makes sense. So light goes down and then there's like a holiday tradition that makes it a bit more bright and fun. So you're not really noticing the cold and the wind and the light yet. Then January, it is more depressing. It is the coldest month, the sun is still very dark and Christmas is over, so it's not fun anymore. I agree, January is not the fun month. However, over Christmas, I went to Finland. Sunrise in Finland was 11 a.m. and sunset was 1:30. There was 2 hours of daylight a day, and to be honest, it never really was daylight because like the horizon's like that and the sun just goes like this. Like it doesn't, I didn't see my shadow for 10 days. It just, sunset and sunrise look the exact same because it's just this pink sky, which is beautiful, but not daylight. So we would do an activity, whether it's like dog sledding or whatever, and then by the time that was done, the sun was down. So you're like, cool, that's it, I'll go sit down for another, 18 hours. More than that, 22 hours, God. I very much felt that. I didn't get seasonal affective disorder, wasn't there long enough, but I definitely could see that I would if I was there long term. So then once I came back to the UK for January, I was like, 4 o'clock sunset, sign me up. I will never complain again. Similar to the weather, I think when I was in Finland, it acclimatized me because I was in -20 a lot of the time. If you've been watching my videos, you'll see that I was rogged up. But when I came back, when I got off the plane, I was just wearing a t-shirt. I had to take off all my layers and I was trying to get home from the Gatwick, and I was literally in a t-shirt walking around and everyone's like looking at me because it was 7 degrees and I'm like, I'm so hot, stay away from me. Once again, I think my perception of what cold is very much skewed. It is cold in London, but I do think it makes it a bit more interesting, gives you more fashion choices. I'm literally from a place that has non-stop sunshine and heat as per the bushfire issue. So I almost find rain a novelty. And I don't even find it rains that much because I have the dog, so I'm very aware of if I have to go stand in the rain to take her to the bathroom. And it hasn't been that much of an issue. However, I think it has rained at night a fair bit, which is great because then the grass stays green and I don't get wet waiting for the dog. But one thing I wasn't prepared for, which is neither here nor there, but London, the UK, gets very muddy. I have not had this issue before because Australia is in a drought my entire life. So I take the dog for a walk in the morning and then afternoon and she gets covered in mud. I have to bath her like every second day underneath because I don't want her tracking mud around the apartment. So yeah, mud, and then sometimes I'll just be following her through some bushes. I have wellies now, thank God, because my shoes would have been destroyed. And then I'm just suddenly like in a mud pit and I'm like squelching. But the side effect is that I find it quite fun because I'm not used to it. I'm like a little kid that's like never seen mud before. I'm like squish, squish, squish. It's fun until I have to bath the dog. That's never fun. The other thing with the British winters that I was quite scared with is that I thought I'd be cold because everyone kept telling me how cold English winter is. I haven't been because I'm inside 95% of the time. And with double glazing and a radiator, the house just doesn't get cold. I'm in a jumper now because I wanted the video to look fun and themed, but I'm not really cold. I've got my sleeves up, like it's hot in here. And even if I don't put the radiator on, a lot of the time it just stays quite pleasant. And then even in summer, I find the apartment stays quite cool. Like double glazing is a great invention. I don't know why the rest of the world hasn't had it. Australia should have it. I am gonna force people to get it. It's so good. Like just because it keeps the cold out as well as the heat in and vice versa. It's just, whoever invented it, good work. The other thing I learnt about being in a British winter, I'm not sure if this is like British or worldwide or just a winter thing, and I've never really had a proper winter, is that when the sky is blue, it means it's cold. If I wake up in the morning and there's blue skies, this happens to Daniel actually, not me, to be fair. He looks outside, he's like, blue skies, I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt, sunny, and I'm like, no. Blue skies means very cold. Blue skies is like the days I have like frost on the grass. Whereas if it's cloudy, it's actually quite warm, like the cloud acts as like a blanket and locks it in. So even though it looks worse, it feels better, and that's something that you kind of got to train your brain with. So at the end of the day, I don't necessarily mind the rain because I'm like, oh good, it'll be a bit warm. Also there'll be mud and I can squish around. The other fun thing is that British winters allow you to have extra fashion. And I think this goes a little bit into summer because summer is never crazy hot unless there's a few weeks. But generally you can always look a bit stylish. Coming from Australia, it's always hot, so you're literally just like wearing minimal clothing as possible, which sounds sexy, but it's not. So I've actually had to buy new coats and Daniel got me a scarf for my birthday in December, because my old scarf was like a linen-y one that was like not a wintry scarf to keep me warm. So I bought my first proper scarf and I bought my first proper coat. So I'm looking like a proper Londoner now. But I do find if you have a coat and you have like a jumper like this, like you're pretty warm, like you're set. Although you do need layers, I've learnt, because it's cold outside and then you walk inside a building or the tube and it's just like, bam, heaters. And you're like, Jesus, I'm so hot. Taking everything off. So layers are very important. So overall, I found the British winter not that bad. I don't know if that's necessarily skewed because of my experience in Finland. I'm sure that helped with the temperature difference. Like come summer, I'm gonna be a proper acclimatized Brit person and just be like, I'm dying of the heat, it's 20 degrees. And then all my Australian family are gonna roll their eyes and be like, you've changed. But overall, yeah, I've not minded January because Christmas was in December. Christmas was really nice. I've not minded January because January, although it is dark and depressing, London has so much stuff on that I've actually had quite a busy fun month, like seen some shows, been out to some dinners, etc. So it's not just sitting at home missing all of the festivities. I've actually kept busy, so haven't felt it that much. So overall, you guys are all over dramatic. It's fine. The winter's fine. I like having seasons. It's really fun. Not even the winter, like if you can, like I'm so excited for spring just to have a new season. Having autumn and having the leaves change, and then having summer and being able to picnic, and then winter, having Christmas and the lights and just like cozying up and doing inside things. And then spring is all the flowers. I love the flowers, the British gardens in spring. I'm so excited. I want to do the Chelsea, oh my God, I can't speak anymore. The Chelsea Flower Show, but the tickets are far too expensive, so I think I'll just look online. But it all looks so beautiful. Tell me in the comments below if you think I'm gonna get worse in February. It is only the end of Jan, so maybe you're right. Give this video a thumbs up, purely because I've survived the winter. Come on, an Australian surviving the winter's worth a thumbs up, guys. And hit subscribe and the bell if you would like to see me next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.